Hello and welcome to this sleep aid tip. In this tip I'm going to discuss something that a lot of people do that actually kind of messes up their own sleep. And that is the idea of when you've been working hard or maybe you haven't been sleeping real well and you decide, I'm going to go to bed early tonight. And I'm going to get myself some extra sleep and catch up and I'm going to feel great. Well, there's a problem with that. And that is your brain doesn't know what your idea is. Well, it sort of does because it's your brain and you should kind of, anyway. The problem is that neurologically, going to bed early doesn't guarantee that you're going to go to sleep early. And therein lies the problem. What happens a lot of times when somebody decides, okay, I'm going to go to bed early tonight and catch up on my sleep, is they go, they're dead tired, or at least they feel physically drained. They get into bed early, a few hours before they usually would go to bed, and they, lie down and go, ah. And then they lie there awake, and they can't fall asleep. And so they're like, I really need to get some extra sleep. So they, they try to get comfortable. They, and they sit there, or lie there rather, and they just can't fall asleep because their brain's just plain old not ready. If you're used to going to sleep at a certain time of night, chances are going to bed early, you're going to have some difficulty falling asleep. And so what happens is then they wind up stressing themselves out because they can't fall asleep and they're trying to catch up on their sleep and they want to get more sleep. And so that's why they went to bed early and this is ridiculous and how come I can't fall asleep? And a lot of times they get themselves wound up so that then not only can they not fall asleep early, they can't fall asleep when they normally fall asleep, and so they wind up being sleepless all night long because they had this brilliant idea that they were going to go to sleep early. So don't do that to yourself. Go to sleep when you feel sleepy. And that may sound kind of weird, but what a concept, right? Go to sleep when you're sleepy. It's a very simple piece of advice. If you're up, your brain's awake, you don't feel sleepy, don't go to bed yet. Do other things. Don't do things that are going to really activate your brain. I don't recommend that you go do some kind of work that you have to really focus on. I don't recommend that you do any hard physical exercise to try to tire yourself out physically because that actually tends to wake up the brain even though it tires out the body. So you want to deal with going to sleep as a way of basically a pattern that you're going to go through. So you want to, if you're not sleepy, your pattern is saying it's not time to go to sleep. And you say, well, if I'm not sleeping well, I don't want to stay up till 2, 3 a.m. or whatever it is. That may be exactly what you need to do to allow your brain to kind of reset itself. Because although, you're probably going to be tired the next day if you didn't go to sleep when you thought you should, or when you normally would, what will happen is the brain's going to kind of reset it so that you are going to be sleepy and ready to go to bed at a good, what we'll call a more reasonable hour. Our brain doesn't know what's reasonable or not reasonable, but what we would consider a more reasonable hour the next night. So instead of trying to go to bed early, go to bed when your brain tells you it's ready to go to bed. Simple advice, take it for what it's worth, but I think you'll find it helpful. Thank you for watching.